Good cinematography is not defined by how big of an arc shot you can manage or how high of a crane shot your money can buy. There's a lot more to it than simply making it dynamic. Spectacle can be stale, dull, and meaningless if it's not done properly. The way in which a shot is staged can create a subconscious experience to captivate the audience into your film. Sometimes good cinematography is not moving the camera at all, because then when the camera does move, there's a stronger emphasis. A concept has no meaning without an opposing force. You won't know what failure looks like until you see the celebration. Good cinematography can be the transition between two shots that have similar composition and only mean something once they are seen side by side. They contrast each other to tell a story. How often can you make color mean something instead of simply looking pretty? It can foreshadow a character or symbolize their descent into crime, and it can even separate time and place. What exactly is it that your character is descending into? Show that. You can make two individual shots of different parts of a film parallel and equal each other to show a passing sequence of legacy. You can follow a moving object and stop it to increase its impact. The camera has to be completely consumed in the meaning of its subject's behaviors over time. You can set up a pattern in which your subconscious eye expects to see one thing but is served with another. Once the pattern is disrupted, it stands out. You can parallel track to the right, like a timeline, to convey the passing and continuation of time. You can use clever left and right blocking to show a double-sided mind or personality.
False.
You can place your character in front of a mirror to provide an internal conflict. Or show how they feel about themselves. How do you frame the lighting to guide your eye to the subject? Put the brightest area of the frame closest to the place you want them to look. How do you shoot something to look suspicious? Well, you can use telephoto lens, or use a point of view angle to show paranoia. Before you set up your camera, ask yourself, what and why? What is it I'm trying to convey, and why am I filming it the way I am? If you look further into a film and pay attention to the details, you'll find much more meaning in what's going on than you thought that there was. Okay, so you can frame an aesthetic photo, but how do you make it organic, realistic, authentic, immersive, or explorable? You can shoot war the same way its original footage was. Low to the ground, since the cameraman was avoiding gunfire, and make it shaky every time an explosive is nearby. How do you make it shocking? Well, you can use subtle, natural lighting, or establish a peaceful atmosphere with slower movements to contrast whatever abruptly happens next. How do you expose your isolated character into a new world? How do you portray repetition without it being boring? You can manipulate light to make it romantic or exciting. It doesn't even have to be live action to be great. Believe it or not, there is a proper way to use shaky cam when it's contrasted next to a tripod shot to show who holds the dominant power in a given situation.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box?
So, shooting from a low angle isn't the only way to portray a powerful character. You can make the antagonist look almost directly into the camera to make them creepier.
People will say we're in love.
You can put surrounding objects around a character to symbolize their circumstance, like maybe something that looks like a noose above their head.
69, where I'm from.
Or put them inside a metaphorical cage. Filmmakers assume creativity comes from how many angles you can show something in. This isn't true because your film doesn't even have to have more than one angle if you don't want it to. You can use as many angles as you want, but how easy is it to see the subject when you're forcing them to jump through a line of shots with faster pacing? You can place the subject in the same place in every single shot. Then your eye doesn't have to move at all. You can put two different characters in the same shot to show their close and personal connection to one another. Or do a smooth pan to one another for a stable and healthy relationship. Or you can black out the character to show their irrelevance. Or to make them seem more vulnerable.
You didn't get them. But I sent some flowers. Well, okay. Can I call you again?
There are a lot of different and creative ways to serve exposition through visual storytelling. And there's often more to a narrative than what's presented. This is what makes good cinematography.
Which it is.